So if you're a little on the fence between the Acura RDX and the Acura MDX, you found the right video, because I've got over 36 calculations coming your way to help you make a more informed purchase decision and to maximize the value of your purchase and fuel dollars.
We're talking the 3rd generation RDX, which first hit the road for model year 2019, and the 4th generation MDX, which debuted in 2022. Whether you're considering buying brand new, certified pre-owned, or maybe a second-hand model that's a few years old, chances are that if one of these machines is in your budget, then so is the other. So let's see how they compare in terms of what you get for your purchase dollars and gas dollars.
So when it comes to size, space, and volume, here's how things stack up between the RDX and the MDX.
I'll be putting full specs up on your screen, but here are the key takeaways. On length, it's the MDX in the lead by 11 inches, 28 centimeters, or 6%. The MDX is also 3.6 inches, 9.1 centimeters, or about 5% wider than the RDX. It's also 1.4 inches, that's 3.4 centimeters, or about 2% taller. For wheelbase, the MDX leads the RDX by 5.5 inches, that's 14 centimeters, or about 5%. For maximum cargo capacity with all seats folded, the MDX beats the RDX by 15.2 cubic feet, or 19%. For front headroom, it's the RDX in the lead by 1.5 inches, or 3.8 centimeters, meaning you'll find about 4% more front seat headroom in the RDX than in the MDX.
But I can tell you from here, nothing is crowded. We've got soft surfaces around my knees here if I do sit with them, touching the center console or the armrest on the door. Nice soft surface there. Everything's easy to reach. Even with the sunroof in my comfortable driving position, I've got about that much additional headroom above me, again at about 5'10".
Rear headroom is basically a tie. Front legroom has the RDX in the lead by 0.4 of an inch, that's 1 centimeter, or just under 1%. For rear legroom, it's the MDX in the lead by half an inch, or 1.3 centimeters. That's an advantage of a little over 1%. But your wider passengers will likely be happiest in the MDX, with 1.9 inches or 4.8 centimeters more front seat shoulder room than the RDX. That's an advantage of 3.2%. And on rear shoulder room, the MDX takes the lead by 3.3 inches, 8.4 centimeters, or just about 6%.
Door opening fairly nice and wide, no issues there. Legroom's quite decent actually. I've got more than the width of my hand here between my knees and the front seat ahead. This rear floor is almost completely flat. More room for your feet. We've got some charging, heated seat buttons and controls down here. Headroom again at 5'10" in the back with the sunroof. A little bit tighter, but still just about 4 fingers worth of width here.
The MDX is about 520 pounds heavier than the RDX, about 13%, and the RDX can tow 1,500 pounds with all-wheel drive equipped versions of the MDX able to tow 5,000.
So let me show you a few of my favorite touches. Push button shifter, park, reverse, neutral, and drive or sport mode if we press that again. And by doing it that way, it means that I've got more storage here for my smaller items. A backup camera that shows me 360 degrees and has a rear washer. We can just spray that clean if it's dirty, covered in salt and sand, which is likely when you're driving in conditions like this. And to do that, we just hit the rear washer fluid here, and you can see that's getting the rear windshield, and it's also getting the rear camera. So you've always got a clear view. The heated steering wheel button right here on the steering wheel where it belongs. The door handle right here, that is solid metal, and that feels really good and really substantial in your hand. Also the shift paddle, same thing, solid metal plated, again helping to give a high-end, high-quality feel. Left for down, and right for up. This wrist rest right here, where we can rest our wrist on that and just use our fingertips here on the infotainment trackpad.
All right, so that's how this pair compares on size and physical dimensions, and I've got an exclusive fuel cost audit coming up to help you understand which machine will turn in the best value for your gas dollars. But in between all of those numbers, let's turn to the all-wheel drive and wintertime performance for a moment first.
From model year 2022 and onwards, both the RDX and MDX are running the latest version of Acura's super handling all-wheel drive system. Now in its 4th generation, it can anticipate wheel slippage on slippery surfaces while the vehicle is stopped, apply at least 40% more torque to the rear axle at launch versus earlier versions of the system, and also has triple the rear axle torque available at 100 km/h. By combining some aggressive torque vectoring, which allows the system to actively split power across the rear axle, and even overdrive a single rear wheel to help the vehicle steer more sharply, the result combines aggressive torque vectoring, which allows the system to actively split power across the rear axle, and even accelerate a single wheel to help the vehicle steer more sharply, and to make sure the driver experiences zero delay traction. You'll need winter tires to make use of all of that in conditions like these, and with a quality set, you can expect to feel all but unstoppable if you're a competent winter driver.
So with proper footwear and super handling all-wheel drive on board, both these machines from model year 2022 and onwards will do you very nicely in the snow. They're really two of my favorites for bad weather driving, but which engine in this comparison makes the best use of your gas dollars?
The RDX comes just one way under the hood, and that's with this 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder with 272 horsepower and 280 pounds of torque. The standard engine in the MDX is a 3.5-liter V6 non-turbo with 290 horsepower and 267 pounds of torque. There is a turbo V6 available in the specialized MDX Type S, but we'll cover that in its own video. Compared to the MDX, the RDX gives you 18 less horsepower, that's 7%. But 13 pounds more torque, and that's a 5% advantage. So these engines are basically a tie when it comes to output figures. The RDX needs on average 10.1 liters of premium gas to drive 100 kilometers, which is 60 miles. In Canada, we call that 10.1 liters per 100 kilometers, and in the US, you probably call it 23 miles per gallon combined. The MDX needs on average 11.2 liters of premium gas to drive 100 kilometers, or 60 miles, and in the USA you probably call that 21 miles per gallon combined. And we're only looking at the fuel economy of all-wheel drive equipped models, by the way. So to make this comparison, let's say you drive 20,000 kilometers, or roughly 12,000 miles per year. And let's say that you're paying $1.80 a litre Canadian for premium gas in Canada, and $4.25 US per gallon of premium gas in the States. In that example, after a year of driving, the MDX will have cost its Canadian driver $4,032 in gas, that's $336 a month, and its American driver $2,430, that's just over $200 a month. After a year in the RDX, our Canadian driver's gas bill is $3,636 Canadian, that's $303 a month, and our American RDX driver has an annual gas bill of $2,216 US, that's about $185 a month. So in a nutshell, Canadians choosing the MDX over the RDX can expect to pay about $400 a year more on fuel, that's about $33 a month. And for American drivers, choosing the MDX over the RDX will cost you about $212 a year more, that's just under $20 a month. Or to put all of that very simply, the MDX is going to use about 10% more of your gas dollars to cover the same distance.
So food for thought, that's the MDX giving you 233% more towing capacity for just 11% more of your gas dollars. And if you understand the differences between these two machines a little better now, if you just had any surprises, maybe even changed your mind or confirmed your decision, then do let us know down in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new uploads. I'm Justin Pritchard in Sudbury, Ontario, and we'll see you in the next video.